I'm Heather Ballantyne, sales specialist and entrepreneur. Follow me and enjoy the ride. It's a 2019 Lamborghini Superveloce Jota, otherwise known as the SVJ, in Viola Parsafe. If you're not familiar with this, it's a pearl treatment to the paint, and in the sun, it looks absolutely stunning. I really love it because it kind of brings me back, like Diablo's being purple, so it's nice to see this in a new, fresh color. The rims on this SVJ are the Nerio Forge 2021 inch in matte titanium. Now I really like this with the purple, especially because the SVJ comes standard with matte carbon fiber. So the rims tie in nicely with all of that matte finish throughout the car. And then with the beautiful pearl glossy paint, it just gives it a stunning contrast. He chose to do the brake calipers in black. It's very sinister, it's stealth, and it really makes the paint the star of the show. Another thing I love about this pearl paint is it shows the lines so beautifully. I love the lines of the new SVJ. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're mean, they're sexy, you name it. What's not to love? You'll notice the beautiful new Ala 2.0 active aerodynamic system with aero vectoring, and when you drive this car on the track, you're going to really notice the difference. So this SVJ has the naturally aspirated V12 engine, but unlike the previous SV, it has a bump in horsepower of 20 horsepower. So instead of 740, you've got 760 horsepower. Your max speed is 350 kilometers, and that naturally aspirated engine sounds so good. In the engine bay, you're going to notice that it has a bronze cover, and the actual engine area is in carbon fiber. So if you notice on the SVJ, the engine bonnet isn't a part of the car. It's actually a completely separate piece that you have to unlock and lift off. Now I'm familiar with this because the Centenario Roadster that I delivered had the same setup. But it's interesting to see this on a highly produced car. This is one of 900, whereas the Centenario Roadster was one of 20. So it's interesting that they chose to maintain that and include it in this beautiful model. So you have an option when you're speccing an SVJ to do colored engine springs. This one he chose to keep it black to match the calipers. I think that was a great choice. But should you do an exterior color that lends itself to red or green springs, then you do have that option. So on this particular spec, you'll see he did not do the large SVJ exterior logo. Typically would have a black SV and a red J, but with this one he chose to just leave that off. There is a small SVJ branding down at the lower panel, and you'll see the tiny Italian flag. I love it. It's really cool that they chose to incorporate that in the spec. So I especially love the really aggressive large wing on the back and the rear splitter. It is so hot. It reminds me a lot of the lines of the Centenario Roadster that I delivered, but it's like that times 10. The whole thing is totally fierce, and I am in love. So you'll notice the exhaust tips, they're really nice looking. They match the titanium matte rim very well, and very similar styling to the Performante, but when you hear the sound of this car, it's no Performante. It's a totally different level. And I love the matte carbon. You'll see it throughout the car. You'll see the large rear air intake. You'll see the rear spoiler, the rear diffuser. It's so nice to see that carbon fiber throughout. And like I said before, against the Viola Parsafe paint, it really pops. So if you take a look at the interior, there's tons of Alcantara. You'll see a beautiful cross stitch that they introduced with this new SVJ. It's a nice change from the Cusatura diamond stitching. It still gives you a little bit of flair, but it's also simple and understated. You'll notice the large Y that they kept. That's familiar to us from the previous SV. And this particular spec has the embroidered headrest. That used to be an ad personam option, but since the SVJ has full Alcantara interior, that is a standard thing. The one thing you can do is change up the coloring. He's chosen to go ahead and stick with the Bianca Leda throughout. You'll see the white Y, the white embroidery, the white cross stitch, and the white SV. However, the J is in red. Now that's a standard option, but if you wanted to pay for ad personam, you can get that stitching in pretty much whatever color you want. You'll notice the branding package on the dash is all blacked out. This is something we don't see often. Usually we see it in chrome, but in this car you'll see it's black and it looks very cool. It's there, but it's subtle. So you'll notice a difference of the carbon fiber treatment on the interior. It's all glossy on the inside of the car, which is really nice. On the exterior, they chose to keep it matte. It looks great. But on the interior, you'll see that high gloss sheen to all the carbon, which really makes it stand out against the black Alcantara. I love the little details, even the little white marker at the top of the steering wheel and the white cross stitch around it. It's just nice. Those small details make such a difference. You'll see the footplate in this car is carbon fiber. Now that's an option. You can also do aluminum, but he chose to black it out with the carbon fiber. That's my favorite and would be my personal choice as well if I was speccing the car. So you'll notice with an SVJ, the front bumper is very aggressive. It also has the ALA system, so that does not allow for front parking sensors. Now some people have a hard time getting over that, but I'm really glad they did it this way because you just would not want to see those unsightly sensors in such a sexy bumper. However, you do have the option of adding rear view camera and parking sensors in the back, which this car also has. But you can also add to your SVJ travel pack and telemetry. This is definitely a car that I would plan to track. So if I were speccing my own, I would love to have all of those options. So SVJ doesn't actually have that many options that you can choose. It already comes pretty standard loaded. It's very beautiful, stunning spec. But remember, if you were speccing your own and you wanted to make it extremely unique, you can always delve into ad personam. That's the program where you can customize and create exactly what you want unique to your car. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm so glad I could share this beautiful 2019 Lamborghini Superveloce Jota with you. If you're interested in knowing more about the Lamborghini brand or getting in the queue for SVJ, primarily we have more demand than supply, but it never hurts to add your name to the list. Be sure to make an appointment with me, as always, at Lamborghini Uptown Toronto in Vaughan. Thanks for watching my video, guys. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button. I'll be releasing new videos every week and I can't wait to have you along for the journey.